And I was a big baseball card collector, and this is one of the first places I started collecting baseball cards. And I was down at McLaren Field getting ready to get some baseball cards, and they needed an announcer, and they said, hey, we'll give you some cards if you announce. I was 14 years old, and you know, it's great for what's ended up happening to me is I learned how to talk in a microphone and learned how to talk in front of people.
And because of Marion, 2 of my grandsons saw their boom pause microphone in the National Baseball Hall of Fame.
To make sure you don't miss any of Swinford Media Group's YouTube uploads, including segments of the Marion Star Live, Turning Back Time, and Wildcat Game Day, join our YouTube family by subscribing to our channel and ring the bell for notifications. Swinford Media and the Marion Star appreciate the support of the Arcadia Wealth Group, which is sponsoring Wildcat Wednesdays and our Turning Back Time segments.
Welcome back. I'm now joined by Marion native Chuck Morgan. Chuck's in town today because one of the press boxes at a field here at Ray Fosse Park is going to have his name on the announcer's booth. Chuck, congratulations. Welcome back to Marion.
Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here. This is a great honor, and you know, this is where I first fell in love with baseball, and it's great to be back at a place where you first fell in love with a great game.
Right. So take us back 50 years ago to that night when you first got in the announcer's booth. How did that come to be?
You know, I'd actually played in a Pony League game here at Warder Stotler.
Okay.
And then was walking around, and I'd had a pretty good game, and my dad had given me a little change, and I was a big baseball card collector, and this is one of the first places I started collecting baseball cards. And I was down at McLaren Field getting ready to get some baseball cards, and they needed an announcer, and they said, hey, we'll give you some cards if you announce. I was 14 years old, and you know, it's great for what's ended up happening to me is I learned how to talk in a microphone and learned how to talk in front of people,
right.
Which is, as you well know, is one of the scariest things to do. But
exactly.
That's how it all started, and
wow.
From there it took off.
So did you know that night that was something you enjoyed doing? Was that something you consistently kept doing, you know, off and on after that, or you know, where did it go from there?
Well, you know, like everybody, every little kid growing up, I thought I'd be playing for the Cardinals
exactly.
or something, you know, but didn't work out that way, and that led to me getting into radio when I was 15 at W3D.
Okay.
And it evolved from that and ended up on the stage of the Grand Ole. I kind of took a left turn from baseball, went to the Grand Ole Opry
right.
for a while, but always loved baseball, and that was the beginning of it.
So tell us about growing up in Marion. How many people know you? What year did you graduate high school and all that kind of thing?
I think there's quite a few that know me.
Mm-hmm.
I graduated in 1973, and I tell everybody that the time that I grew up in and the people I grew up with, I wouldn't trade that for anything. It was part of the greatest time of my life, and made a lot of great friends, and got to wear the blue and gold of the Wildcats in football, basketball, and baseball, and got a lot of great old teammates that I still stay in touch with, and it was just a great time. And at that time in the mid '60s, when I was in grade school, you know, we had guys like Ray Fosse
right.
and Greg Sterick, Mike Bergner played great football at Notre Dame
right.
to follow. So it's just a great time to grow up.
So you go from Marion down to Nashville, and you're working radio and doing some Grand Ole Opry, and then I think you went and worked with the Yankees a little bit at the minor league level. Talk about your journey into the big leagues.
Well, the Nashville Sounds started up in 1978, and loving baseball. For about $10 a game, I went and did their PA when I could. And then I was working radio at WSM and the Grand Ole Opry. And Larry Schmittou, who owned the Nashville Sounds at the time, became a executive with the Texas Rangers in late 1982. And he called me in December of that year and said, hey, do you want to join me in Texas? And I first turned him down because I had a lot of great things going on in Nashville with my career. And then I thought about it for a while, and after the first year I decided to join him in Texas, and I've been there ever since.
Wow, that's awesome. So talk a little bit about, I know that you could probably all these years pick a ton of memories, but is there anything that stands out specifically with your time with the Rangers, a special moment? Or
Well, you know, I've seen so many great moments, first individual accomplishments by players, but, you know, the biggest moment is when you put as much heart and passion into baseball in a franchise as I have with the Rangers. The first time you win an American League pennant, and the way it happened with Neftali Feliz striking out A-Rod, and for us to win our first American League pennant in 2010, that was the best moment. But, you know, I've seen and you're here today because of Marion. There's so many good things that have happened. I've seen 5,000 strikeout. I've seen 4 no-hitters now. The last one wasn't that great, but I've seen so many great accomplishments. Beltre's 3,000 career hits. So, and then got to hang around one of the greatest catchers of all time, and Budge Rodriguez. So it's been great.
I know you guys have that new ballpark, and last year you guys kind of got into the spotlight with the bubble. Talk about that experience a year ago hosting the COVID-19 neutral site World Series.
Well, the thing I tell everybody is the next time that I do a World Series, I hope the Rangers are playing and I don't have to be either a home game for the Dodgers or the Tampa Bay Rays. It was a lot of work. It was a lot of fun, though. We did the NLDS first, then the National League Championship Series, then the World Series. But it was a lot of fun, but a lot of work. It was about 47, 48 days in a row where we didn't get a day off, but we didn't care because it was we were on baseball's big stage, and it was great to be a part of it.
And real quick before I let you go, I know you're a busy guy today. Talk a little bit about what this honor means to you, to be back in your hometown. I know you've done a lot of things at the professional level, but to be back here on the Little League level today and get your name read and have a sign go up at the field, what's that mean to you?
It means the world to me. I mean, it's just tremendous. It's a great honor. But the message it is that I grew up right here in Marion. Everything I learned about baseball started right here, and then played for Coach Fletcher in high school. I learned the game here. I fell in love with the game here. And I hope it sends a message to all these little kids out here that, hey, if you work hard and you have a lot of passion and enthusiasm for something, that you're going to have some dreams come true. And so a little kid from Marion that had dreams of being in the big leagues, well, that's where it ended up for me, and it's pretty special.
Well, congratulations, well deserved, and we'll let you get out there and receive your honor.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Morning. I'd like to read a couple of letters dedicated to Mr. Morgan for his honor. The first letter is actually from the park's namesake, Mr. Ray Fosse. It says, "Dear Chuck, congratulations on the tremendous honor the Marion Parks Department and the Marion Youth Baseball Association is bestowing upon you. Your tremendous career started in Marion and has continued for many years with the Texas Rangers Baseball Club in the American League. We both know the importance of having a great organization to form our youth, and in our cases, to be the beginning of a career that we both have been able to enjoy for many years. For this, I congratulate and thank the Marion Youth Baseball Association for recognizing you for your many accomplishments. To know the PA booth at McLaren Field will have your name attached is something people will remember for many years. While this great honor is great in its own right, I must also congratulate you for having your microphone on display and your accomplishments recognized by the National Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York. Your ongoing record of over 3,000 consecutive games behind the microphone is something many of us cannot imagine. Plus, for you to miss the induction ceremonies in Cooperstown for Ivan Rodriguez of the Rangers and to insist that his honor be done while the Rangers are on the road says so much about your dedication to your profession. The great people in Marion taught you well. I'm very sorry I cannot be there to congratulate you in person, but I know that I will be thinking about you on this special day in your honor. Your friend, Ray Fosse." The next one that I'm going to read is possibly from the greatest baseball pitcher of all time. It says, "Dear Chuck, congratulations on being honored in your hometown of Marion, Illinois, by having the PA booth where your career in baseball broadcasting started at the age of 14, dedicated in your name. I understand this is being done in recognition of your 3,000th consecutive game broadcasting and having your microphone used on that milestone game put on display in the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York. On April 4th, 1983, you made your debut as a Major League Baseball public address announcer, and on Saturday, September 26, 2020, you announced your 3,000th consecutive game, spanning 3 different Rangers ballparks, Arlington Stadium, Globe Life Park, and Globe Life Field, and even included a game at Yankee Stadium. This remarkable number of games does not even include the many playoff games and World Series games you broadcast. It's truly an amazing accomplishment. Your passion for the game of baseball and your professionalism in bringing the fans the ultimate experience truly make you worthy of being recognized as one of the best in the business. Many folks might not even know of your great career before baseball, working in Nashville on the Nashville Network, TV shows, and the Grand Ole Opry. That in itself is quite an achievement. It has been my sincere pleasure in getting to know you many years ago and working with you while with the Texas Rangers as a player and also as the Texas Rangers team president. It's also been enjoyable working with you for quite a few years, speaking at fundraising events and other special events with our Q&A format. I think that we were able to give the attendees a truly memorable experience, as indicated by the feedback that we received. Thank you for being a willing partner in these events. I can't think of anyone I'd rather have alongside me to do them with. Again, Chuck, congratulations, and I hope the streak continues. Sincerely, Nolan Ryan. It's our privilege and pleasure to have Mr. Morgan here in person, that he felt that this honor was big enough for him to drive all the way up here and to be part of this. The Marion Park District thanks you greatly. As Jack mentioned, Chuck Gulledge Morgan is the Executive Vice President for Ballpark Entertainment, Promotion, and Production of the Texas Rangers. At this time, Mr. Morgan, it is my great honor and distinction, along with the Commissioners of the Marion Park District, Director Reed and his staff, that I will unveil this sign. This sign will be placed at the McLaren Field announcer's booth, commemorating the birthplace of the announcing career of Chuck Gulledge Morgan, the voice of the Texas Rangers. Congratulations, sir. At this time, I've asked Mayor Absher to come forth and present a proclamation on behalf of the city of Marion.
Good morning. I have an honor of reading a mayoral proclamation for you in honor of Chuck today. Whereas Chuck Gulledge, known professionally as Chuck Morgan, was raised in Marion and was a 1973 graduate of Marion High School. And at the age of 14, Chuck announced his first game at Marion's Ray Fosse Park. And since his graduation in 1973, Chuck has gone on to become a disc jockey, announcer for the Grand Ole Opry, numerous public address announcing jobs, and even a stint on Hee Haw before landing with the Rangers in 1983. And whereas during his 38 years in the public address booth, he's witnessed many great players and moments that very few get the opportunity to experience. And during the shortened 2020 season, Chuck had the distinct honor of addressing his 3,000th career game, the microphone of which is now on display at the National Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York. And whereas through his career, he has always remembered his hometown and has made Marion proud with his many accolades, I now therefore, Michael Absher, by virtue of the authority vested in me as the mayor of the city of Marion, do hereby proclaim Saturday, May 14th, 2021 as Chuck Gulledge Day in the city. And we ask all of you to join with me in welcoming Chuck home and congratulating him on making his hometown proud.
All right. Thank you very much, Ashley. Thank you, Jack. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And a special thanks to a couple of good friends of mine, Hall of Fame pitcher Nolan Ryan and all-star catcher Ray Fosse, for their very thoughtful and kind letters. This is such an outstanding honor, but it's even a bigger honor to be here to speak to all of you today. As a kid growing up in Marion, opening day of the baseball season was one of the biggest days of the year for me. I can't remember when I wasn't a baseball fan, but I can remember the things and places that made me fall in love with baseball. Things like watching Stan Musial at the First Bush Stadium in St. Louis, watching the Cardinals and Yankees on TV, baseball cards, which I bought a lot of baseball cards right over in that little building, wiffle ball. But ladies and gentlemen, it's this place, this park, is where I first fell in love with baseball. I started playing baseball in this great park and in the great Marion Youth Baseball Program when I was 7 years old. To me, and a lot of my teammates that I played with here, there was nothing better than to put on our uniforms and our caps that had an M on them and head to this park and play baseball. In this park, on these fields, just like all of you now, this is where I learned to throw, catch, and hit. This is where I learned how to play the game. This is where I learned the rules of the game. This is where I learned how to be a good teammate. And on these fields, I learned that hard work pays off. And most importantly, what has happened to me in the last 48 years, this is where I had to learn how to do one of the most things that you're most afraid of in your life, and that's talking in front of people. But I learned to do that on a microphone at McLaren Field. Because I grew up in Marion, Illinois, because I played baseball in this youth sports program, what I experienced here, what I learned here, led me to be an announcer on one of the most famous country music shows in the world, Grand Ole Opry. Because of Marion, I've interviewed and introduced some of the biggest stars in country music. And for your old timers that remember the TV show Hee Haw, because of Marion, I have told jokes in the Hee Haw cornfield. That's for you old timers. And because of Marion, for the last 40 years, I have lived a dream of going to work every day at a Major League Baseball park. Because of Marion, I've interviewed some of the greatest players in baseball history. Joe DiMaggio, Henry Aaron, Willie Mays, Bob Gibson, Lou Brock, Cal Ripken. I could stand here for hours telling you about the people that I've interviewed. Because of Marion, I've made so many friends in baseball, including Nolan Ryan, Yvonne Pudge Rodriguez, Adrian Beltre, and Ray Fosse, and so many others. Because of Marion, I've announced Major League Baseball games in the original Yankee Stadium, Arlington Stadium, the ballpark in Arlington, Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City, and now a baseball park that has the world's largest retractable roof, Globe Life Field. Because of Marion, I've announced an all-star game, and I've announced the World Series in 2010 and 2011. I didn't really like the way that one turned out for all you Cardinal fans. I was once one of y'all. Not anymore. And then last year, I got to announce the 2020 World Series. I got to say something that even as a kid I knew about, that the great Vin Scully used to say, it's time for Dodger baseball. I got to say that during the 2020 World Series. Because of Marion, I've seen 4 no-hitters. 2 of those were perfect games. One of those was Nolan Ryan's 7th no-hitter. I've announced Nolan Ryan's 5,000th career strikeout, Rafael Palmeiro's 500th home run, Sammy Sosa's 600th home run, and Adrian Beltre's 3,000th career hit. Because of Marion, I've announced 3,020 consecutive Major League games. Last year, after I'd announced my 3,000th straight game in the World Series, the National Baseball Hall of Fame called the Texas Rangers, and they asked for the microphone that I used for the game and the World Series. Because of Marion, because of working at McLaren Field, today that microphone is resting in the sacred ground section of the National Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York. And because of Marion, two of my grandsons saw their Boom Paws microphone in the National Baseball Hall of Fame. My wife, Star, and I and two grandsons went to Cooperstown in March, and we saw the microphone on display. As I stood there and looked at that microphone, a million thoughts flashed through my mind. I thought about Marion and where it all started. Right back over there at McLaren Field at age 14, the first place I ever announced a baseball game. I wish I had time to mention everyone's name from Marion that helped me in my career. There's too many to announce. I wish my mom and dad could have been here today. They spent a lot of time in this park, like I'm sure a lot of your mom and dads do, teaching you about baseball and how to hit a baseball. Just like there is for all of you today, there are so many people that volunteered their time to make this a special place to play baseball. People like Johnny Goss, Warder Stotler, Harold Worthen, Henry Schotten, Frank Delenardo, Ray Hancock, Clay DeBotti, Frank Manfredo, and a couple of my coaches that taught me as much about baseball as anyone. The great pitcher that pitched on this field, Jim Schotten. He was one of my coaches. And my high school coach for the Marion Wildcats, Jack Fletcher. I still use things today at Texas Rangers games that I learned from Jim Schotten and Coach Fletcher. All of you here today, whether you play baseball or softball, every now and then, thank your coaches for their time. Thank your mom and dads for everything they do for you. And put your heart and passion into everything you do. And like me, your dreams will come true. I've seen some of my teammates over there that I played baseball with, Jesse James, Robin Pauls. To all of us, when we were kids, there was nothing better to have to play for the name that was on the front of that uniform that said Marion. And whether we were in tournaments in Joliet, Illinois, Springfield, Mount Carmel, Carmi, Paducah, Kentucky, we took the field with proud Marion across our chest, and we were proud to play for the Marion Youth Baseball Program. This is such a tremendous honor. I'm so happy that my wife, Star, you want to wave to everybody? Star is a very important person with the Rangers. She is the Senior Vice President of Finance, so she's responsible for making sure the players get paid, so that's very important. Just like people cared about me playing baseball when I was growing up, all of you here today have great people that care about you playing baseball and softball. An honor like this does not happen without their help. Thank you to the City of Marion and Mayor Mike Absher. Thanks to the Marion Park District, to the Marion Youth Sports Association, to the Marion Youth Baseball and Softball Association, and to Heather, Ashley, Kim, and an extra special thank you to a great friend and a teammate from the Wildcat class of 1973, Jack Reed. Thank you, Jack. Thanks to all of you for your time, listening to me, your hospitality, and again for this great honor. I wish I could stay here longer, but we got the Yankees coming in Monday night, then we got the Astros next weekend. We have a brand new ballpark down in Texas with a retractable roof. I hope that you can take a trip to Arlington, Texas sometime and see a Texas Rangers game, and you can come into my booth and watch the game with me. We're right in the middle of Dallas-Fort Worth. Come see us. We'll get you taken care of. My best of luck to all of you. Have a great season. Enjoy every minute of it. It goes by way too fast. And when you pass by this booth at McLaren Field and this sign, remember, because Marion, a lot of dreams came true for a kid from Marion, Illinois. Thank you very much.
Last time I was on this mountain, I walked in. Here we go.
Hey!
One last thing, Mr. Announcer.
All right, here we go. In Texas, right before the game, I say it's baseball time in Texas. Ladies and gentlemen, it is baseball time in Marion, Illinois. Play ball.